Have you ever known you just need to take a break? Like really just take a break and just relax, disconnect and all that. I recently had that experience, and when I tell you I had to take a break because I was seeing all the signs, I was witnessing all the things in my life where I just needed to like stay still and just chill for a minute. The best choice I've ever made was to take this break. And you probably haven't seen me on YouTube for the last couple of weeks, and the reason why is because I needed to take a break. I needed to take a break, and I was blessed with the opportunity just to be able to take a break. For the past 30 days, I literally disconnected. I saw no clients for 30 days. I put myself in a space where I wanted to enjoy the fruits of my labor. And I also, down the line when I was into my 30 days, I had just this awakening, this like spiritual awakening where God was telling me that in this next phase, in the next season, I'm gonna need you to be as strong as possible. Now, when God tells you and God comes to speak with you in certain things of that nature, like it's really, really ignorant to ignore that. And the reason why I had a hard time just really believing that, and sometimes when God talks to me, I have these thoughts. I'm like, okay, is that God talking to me, or is that just like something I'm thinking and it just comes to pass where it's like, okay, well, maybe it was something I was supposed to be doing. But when God calls you to do something, when God tells you to do something, when God speaks to you, and you hear that voice or you have that epiphany or you feel convicted. And this is where I felt convicted, where I was like, I know whatever's coming next, I need to be prepared for it. I need to be fully prepared for that. And I'm going to tell you why that's a bit scary. Because in this, I was asking God, in the time I was taking off, I was like, what is it that you want me to be prepared for? Right? Because preparation doesn't always necessarily mean like a blessing is coming. Preparation doesn't always necessarily mean something good is going to be happening. Sometimes preparation is you're preparing for a storm, right? So you don't buy an umbrella when it's raining. You buy an umbrella when the sun is shining. Why? Because you want to be as prepared as possible when the storm comes, not trying to scramble and trying to find an umbrella, which they'll probably be sold out wherever you're trying to find it. You want to have the umbrella already at hand, so when the rain comes, you can stand under the umbrella. The scary part for me in all this is that I'm not sure if a blessing or a storm is coming, right? I don't know if a storm or blessing is going to be coming in this time that I took off. Even though I had some fun, I did some amazing things, I had a phenomenal time, I had to sit in silence for a bit. I really had to sit in silence and really just think about, okay, how do I prepare myself for what's coming? Because I know something is coming. I don't know what it is, but I know something is coming. So one of the things that I'm doing as of right now, just to prepare for this next season, for me, one, I'm trying to get physically in shape. I need to be at my physical best. I know that for absolute. Like for me, recently I lost about 40 pounds or so. I was started at 342. I'm down to 302. Thank God. My plan and my hope is to get down to 250 soon. But I just don't, I know God gives us this temple, right? And I know that in that temple, whatever's coming, I can't be out of shape. I can't be mentally broke. I can't let gluttony get in the way of what God has for me. I can't let gluttony get in the way of what God has for me, because I know if God gives it to me and I'm not really physically prepared to accept it, I'm going to ruin it. I'm going to ruin it either in overindulging, I'm going to ruin it and not being a good steward of it, or whatever it may be. So that was the first thing like I'm doing now, and I'm constantly working at, is I need to make sure that I'm physically prepared for what's going on and what's to come. Now, the other part of this is that I need to make sure that I'm mentally prepared for what's going to happen. Meaning that the small petty things that may be happening in life right now, there's no way I can accept that right now. There's no way I can just be a part of that right now. The reason why is because if I let these small things get in the way of what's really happening or going to be prepared for me, how am I supposed to receive a bigger blessing? How am I supposed to receive a bigger blessing if I am not allowing myself to be humble in this season and let the small things just be at the wayside. Let God handle those small things because there's bigger, quote unquote, bigger fish to fry. So mentally, I know for me with, being slow to anger, being patient in this season, and just making sure that I'm not stressing myself out, that I'm not being overwhelmed, I'm not being anxious in this season because for whatever's happening or going to happen, I know anxiety has no place for it. I know that anxiety has no place for this next season I'm about to step in. So I cannot allow myself to be anxious, and I cannot allow myself to allow my mental health to not be at the best it's ever been to receive what God has in store for me in this next season. The third part of this is making sure that I am spiritually fed, making sure that I'm spiritually full, knowing that I not only believe in Jesus Christ and believe in God, but I trust God. I trust Jesus. I trust that God will oversee whatever it is I have coming up. I trust that God's plan is better than my plan. I trust that God will never leave me without. I trust that God is my provider. These are things, just even taking a break. And I think this is where it's super important to take breaks and important to really just fast and really be in like spiritual alignment with yourself, because there's so many distractions. And that was one thing that I realized even just in my journey and taking this break was I have so many distractions, and we can call a spade a spade. We can call, okay, well, social media is a distraction. Okay, that can be a distraction. That's valid. But then also, just working, long hours, pouring into other people. And you don't realize like people can be a distraction and just not things or, things that don't really pour into you, but people can be, your job can be a distraction. So it's important that I'm realizing that eliminating distractions is super helpful, because when I'm able to eliminate distractions, I can have hyper focus. When I eliminate distractions, I can focus on what needs to be done. I can hyper focus on the objective at hand. With these distractions and things like that, like social media or, constantly trying to make money or constantly trying to keep up with everything, it doesn't allow me to really sit with myself. One of the questions that I really grapple with in taking time off is, am I supposed to be doing what I'm doing? Am I supposed to be a therapist? Am I supposed to be pouring into people? Am I really supposed to be doing all these things? Am I supposed to even be doing YouTube? These are the questions that I had to really hyper focus on and really take some time to really think about. And one of the things that came up in Matthew when I was doing my devotion was letting my light shine, letting my light not being covered. And I feel as if we all have a light. We all have a light that needs to be shined, but we dim our lights, right? But, God doesn't want us to dim our light at all. God doesn't want us to dim our light. So I think in all this is like, okay, am I supposed to be doing X, Y, and Z? Well, that may be up for debate still. That may be up for, okay, well, am I supposed to be doing this for the rest of my life? But I think one thing, all the things, the number one thing is that I know that I cannot dim my light. I know that when it comes to being called, or when it comes to having some adverse situations happen, or when it comes to you stepping into a new season, I cannot allow my light to be dim. That's what I really got out of this whole thing. Like, if anything, I can't let my light be dim, and I will not dim my light for anybody else. I cannot afford to dim my light for anybody else, because once I do that, then I'm not fully stepping into what God has for me. If you're watching this video, the one takeaway I want for you to take out of this whole video is that you can take a break, and you probably need to take a break. You probably have telltale signs that you need to take a break. But if you don't allow yourself to do that, I can be confident in saying that you're going to be out of alignment, because when you're hustling, bustling, you're trying to, make the next dollar, you're trying to do all the things, be there for everybody else. And when it comes to you, you're on the back burner. You're always going to eat last. It's time for you to put yourself first. It's time for you to take that rest. It's time for you to pour into yourself 100%. And I really just appreciate y'all for tapping in thus far. I do have some things as far as this channel that I'm going to be really directing towards. And my hopes is that if you're watching this, that you will see the growth and you will benefit from me taking this break. All right. I appreciate y'all for tapping in. Y'all take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Peace.